Oh, it's nice to see you again. For those of you that I've not had the opportunity to meet, thank you for this opportunity. I'll try and be as concise as possible because I've stood over there when other folks have presented themselves, and I know how much endurance it takes to listen to it. So I just want to go talk briefly about a couple of the things that I'm passionate about, and then I want to save most of the time for Q&A and questions and answers to hear about things that you guys are passionate about, and I think Brett feels the same way. My name is Scott Jones. I'm currently a captain in the Sheriff's Department. I'm currently assigned as John McGinnis' Chief of Staff. I've been with the department about 21 years. Started out as a correctional deputy, went to patrol, became sergeant, lieutenant, held various assignments such as the Internal Affairs Commander. I was assistant to the Chief of Corrections. I was a watch commander. I did all the things. Promoted to captain in January of 2007, took over the main jail. I asked to take over the main jail because the main jail was suffering from the worst reputation, high suicide rates, excessive force complaints. And at that time, John McGinnis had taken over the department about 6 months prior. And what he was doing to the department in terms of the transparency and accountability and accessibility was having a positive influence on how people perceived us and the department. And I wanted to do the same thing with the main jail. So I took over the main jail, had a media day, invited them all in with their cameras. In fact, the stock footage you see today with that guy that was just released and 12 hours later had gotten sexually assaulted someone, that stock footage of the inside of the jail from that day. All those things happened when I was there. I also developed a ride-along program for any member of the public interested or critics, community advocates, whoever it would be, to come in and sit with an officer in booking and sit with an officer on the floor and find out what goes on. Find out the inmates having pretty good and the officers work very, very hard. And in that time, in that 18 months I was there, we had no bad press out of it. Every piece of press was positive. We even got good press out of the News and Review. How many people can say that? The Sheriff's Department getting good press out of the News and Review. Well, anyway, so John continued to do the same things as I did with transparency and accountability. And about a year and a half ago, he came to me and said, "Hey, we've got someone that's going to be running for office. I may not run again. Would you be willing to step up and carry this forward?" This was never really part of my career plan. I bought my wife and I and our 4 kids what we considered our dream home in Colfax, Placer County, side note. In Colfax about 2.5 years ago. We were pretty sure we'd live and die there. It was not to be. When I decided to run for sheriff, we now live in Antelope in a home that we've owned for 17 years. It was our first home that we moved out of initially because it was too small for us. It's still too small for us, but that's home until we get through the selection. So that's a little bit about me. Somewhere along the line, I got a bachelor's degree in criminal justice from Sac State, and I went to law school. I've got a law degree and been a member of the bar for a little over 10 years. I was, in conjunction with some of the other assignments I talked about, I was the legal advisor for the department for 7.5 years. So I was the legal advisor to Sheriff Blanis, and I was the legal advisor to Sheriff McGinnis. So I was an insider looking out and saw the best of Lou Blanis and the worst of Lou Blanis and the best of John McGinnis and what I would change about what John McGinnis has done. But it gave me a unique perspective on 2 very different administrations to move the department forward that I'm going to take and move the department forward. So we all know where we're at now. We lost our first deputies to layoff. 122 deputy sheriffs laid off, first in our 160-year history. So how do we recover from that? Where do we go from here? How do we grow and move forward? Was that my 1 minute?
No, sorry.
Oh. How do we move forward and grow in this climate? And I will submit to you that we can do it. And the first thing we have to do is recognize that this is our new economic reality. I'm not going to waste 1 bit of effort going to the board and whining and crying or trying to scare the public or advocating for a half-cent sales tax to fund public safety. There is no money to be had. And I'll fight for my piece of the pie with the county board. That's my fight as sheriff. But once you recognize this is our new economic reality, it's a little bit liberating because it frees up your energy and innovation to start looking how to move forward and grow with this new economic reality. And I'll tell you the first thing we have to do is take a more regionalized view of public safety. So it's not the Sheriff's Department languishing out here on our own and the Police Department, Rick Brazil doing something else, and Chris Boyd and Citrus Heights doing something else. We need a regionalized view and start regionalization of services. So the first people I went to when I started this campaign in August was not the big money people, the developers, the unions, all the big dollar folks. It was the chiefs of police, which incidentally are very terrible fundraisers. They have no money. But they were the ones that could help me carry out my mission. And so I presented this grand idea. Regionalized view. Let's combine resources. Let's have a regionalized SWAT, regionalized K-9. Let's keep going. Let's have a regionalized homicide, burglary. So we not only cut out the duplicative overhead and do more with fewer officers, but we enhance our ability to investigate and solve crimes because now we're getting a regional view of the crime that's occurring instead of our own piece of the pie. Well, guess what? Every single police chief liked that idea. Every single municipal police chief in Sacramento County is in my camp. Galt, Ileton, Elk Grove, Sacramento, Citrus Heights, Folsom. Every single police chief is behind me. They all want the same thing. Because you might have noticed, cops sometimes have a little bit of an ego. Just a little bit. So, just being able to go to those agency chiefs and tell them, this is my vision, and having them share that vision is remarkable. There's a million things we need to do. I encourage you all to go to my website and look at the organizational vision. I have a platform. I have a vision for the department that I posted several months ago, and it talks about many of these things. But the first thing we do is more regionalization of services and a regionalized view of public safety. I have no doubt that we will get out of this better at what we do. We will get out of this more responsive to the public, more effective, more cost efficient. We have a lot of pain to get from here to there, but we will come out of this better at the end because we're going to be doing now out of necessity what we should have been doing, frankly, all along, but we'll be doing now. So we will come out of this better with some innovation, dedicated employees, and stop looking for more funding and start looking inwardly at more efficient ways of doing business. We will come out of this better. So I encourage you to go to my website. I encourage you to support me and within your realms of influence, spread that support. I need all the help I can get. This is going to be a fight. So thank you.